Welcome to Trainer Talk.
Luke and DK back again, another episode, Trainer Talk. I love this on Tuesdays, every Tuesday. Hey, thanks for your contributions. I think people are probably going to start liking to hear from you a little bit more than Matt Morris here. I don't know.
Trying to steal a little bit of spotlight, trying to keep up with him.
You stealing his thunder? We miss Matt too on the show. We'll bring him back. Where's Matt right now, by the way?
He should be finished up. Well, he's probably walking into the office in a minute with 6 or 7 meals in his bag. But
is he? Yeah.
He'll be here shortly, I would imagine.
Yep. One for each pec muscle. Gotta have one meal for each pec muscle. We love you, Matt. And we're gonna talk today about a recovery topic, walking. So, just a couple nuances on that. But I wanted to, and then I'll kick it back to you, Luke. I wanted to talk about how important this is for my family. You know, we have 3 kids. Morgan's the CEO. I'm the visionary. We both travel a lot. There's days when we are not at home. The days when we are home, those walks with just us 5, where we're doing nothing but just talking to each other. There's no phones. You can't walk and use your cell phone, so there's no phones. I guess I technically could. That's how you see people running into poles and stuff, their forehead. Dong. You ever see those videos?
Yeah.
People are walking around texting and they just go boom. It's like, hey, wake up call, you idiot. Like, maybe you should be present every once in a while instead of being a slave to your device, which I don't have a problem with doing that. The other, 15 hours a day when I'm working in email, that's my job, is to be here communicating with people. But that's a secondary job to my primary job, which is to be present with my family for a dedicated amount of time every day. And there's nothing better to do all the stuff you're talking about, all the physiological stuff I just talked about, but then from a family perspective, to pour positive emotional deposits into your family, to be able to go out and stay present and connect with my children and talk about what they did that day. There's an active sense of meditation in that where, it's a little bit more, it is active, but we're present in the moment. You feel lost in it. 45 minutes goes so fast when you're just there with them and able to cut off the rest of the world. There's a lot of benefit to that. So Luke and I wanted in this Trainer Talk to really champion the art of walking. For all of those reasons, there's so many benefits to it, and we need to stop demonizing it and thinking that it's not a sufficient form of wellness is to get out and feel the sun and be with nature and to get the 10 minutes of vitamin D that you said, and get that sun on your skin. And what that does for your physiology overall can't be described in a 15-minute Trainer Talk podcast. But go to Google and go to the empirical, peer-revised third-party studies on walking and nature and meditation and being present. These are not esoteric philosophical concepts anymore that, some woo-woo law of attraction, tarot card reader is sitting back and suggesting that you do with your life. It's like, this is more and more and more becoming actuated and substantiated in science. And we want to bring it to the forefront of the company who is known for having the hardest workouts on the planet. We want to let you know that we don't have pride in just having the hardest workouts on the planet. We have pride in results. Okay, results. That means you need to do all 3 forms of exercise: demanding training, exercise, which is maybe like cycling, biking, swimming, jogging, and activity. Just playing basketball with your friends, being present, going on a walk with your family, or playing racquetball, whatever it might be. But those 3 forms of exercise are the way I think about, moving, and really, I guess, walking is in that last bucket.
Yeah.
Luke, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to recall one of your last meditative walks. And if you don't mind being vulnerable, just sharing a story with us about maybe something that you found out about yourself, an aha moment, a conflict that you were facing that you had to settle that score with yourself, and that's the only place you get to do it is on that 25 minutes of the front leg of your walk where you're not listening to anything and you're trying to settle the score with yourself. It seems like you're trying to iron things out in that time. Do you have something that comes to mind that you can share with us, please?
Yeah, good question. So one of my goals this year was to, I wanted to get back into going to church. So I wanted to either go to church or listen to something online. And so I used my walks as a time to do that. So one of the sermons that this guy was talking about was, the person you've always been isn't the person who you have to be. So like I can see the growth in myself that I've liked in other people. I can find that in myself. And this is the year too. That was the first one that I listened to in 2023, and it ultimately just allowed me to know that it's okay to have not always been the person you wanted to, but it's okay to make changes and self-reflect on that person who I was isn't the person who I have to be today or in 6 months and a year from now. And it was just a good reminder that I think as humans we go through phases in our life where we're not always going to be proud of the person that we were, but it doesn't mean we can't be proud of the person that we're going to become, and kind of hold that as something at the forefront of my head that I need to be better in my personal relationships, someone better to my family, someone better at work, and it's okay to know that hiccups and you're going to have speed bumps, but it's also okay to know that I will be better because of those things that I went through, and those trials and tribulations allow for growth. And like we said, the growth is in the gaps, and I've been able to self-reflect on what my gaps are and use those as an opportunity to be a better person. And that, I mean, the first time I heard it, it really hit home that it's okay to not be perfect, but to improve on those things that I didn't love about myself at the time.
That's deep, man. Well, thank you for sharing. And
yeah.
It's a great story because that's what it's about. It's about finding yourself, right? Like in this journey of life, it's not about what we're getting, it's about who we're becoming, and the character that we're developing every day is exactly what Luke's talking about. It's like you had a set of character, a set of mind, and a set of character attributes and a set of beliefs 10 years ago that aren't the same as today, and if they are, that's a big problem. And then you're going to have a set of character attributes and beliefs in 10 years from today that aren't the same as that you have now. And so it's always important to look out 10 years ahead and like identify like who is that hero version of myself that I want to be. And if I'm looking back on myself 10 years ago today, like am I proud of the journey that I've come on? Unless you have time on a walk or in a meditative experience to reflect on these things, then where else are you going to do it? You're talking about mental health, finding something like that in the space that you give yourself to find something like that that's a fundamental realization that Luke has. That it's like my past doesn't define my future. That my biography isn't my destiny. And that I could have screwed up, and I did screw up, and I had all of these interactions that I'm embarrassed even by or ashamed by. But am I going to use that as motivation of something I never want to get back to? Or am I going to use that as a definitive answer to who am I? I'm that person always. Because one time when I was 16, somebody told me that's the way I should handle things, and I've just not been curious around whether that was the good enough advice or not, and I've carried forward into sometimes people carry things forward, belief systems into their 30s, 40s, 50s, that they learned when they were 15, 16, 18, 22, that are completely misguided. And unless you have self-reflection time, you don't ever settle all that dust, right? To see through the fog and to be able to actually identify or have like that aha moment of things that you need to work on. So walking has so many benefits: lactic acid, breathing, meditation, being present, connecting with your family, listening to podcasts. The growth is in the gaps, finding the gaps that you have in your life, and then being able to really give yourself space to work in your life, work on your life rather than in your life. 99% of the time we're working day to day in our life. I want us to take time to go walk, to be present, to be in nature, to think about and reflect, and to grow, to work on our lives. Make sense? Say yes? Yes. All right. Make sure y'all are flexing on that subscribe button, all right? And how many reviews do we have now? We have like 100 and something reviews. We just got started in November. I think I need 500 by now. I think that's the goal. Can you guys help us get to 500 reviews? If we get to 500 reviews, what are we going to do? You want to do something great? We get to 500 reviews. How about this? I'm going to randomly select 5 of those reviews, okay? Randomly select 5 of those reviews once we've hit 500, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna select those locations who those reviews come from, and I'm gonna make a visit to those 5 locations that we randomly select at 500 reviews on Apple Podcasts, all right? I know you love a Game Bird Nation. I know you all competitors out there. I know you're competing to get Luke's and my and Matt's and Morgan's energy out to your location to really experience what you're building in your community. So here's a little contest. Here's a little gamification. Get you right in that competitive button right to your heart, all right? I know you like it. 500 reviews. I got to see it on Apple Podcasts. I'm picking 5 of you guys, and then I'll see you 5 kids very soon. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.